Ladies and gentlemen, good people and not so good people, I'm gonna let you decide what you classify yourself as. Whatever you feel about yourself, I'm with it. It's another episode, Eagles Elite Podcast. You know, we ain't gonna sit here and play and act like we don't know what happened. We was there Friday. We seen what happened Friday. It was garbage. But at the end of the day, we know two things are gonna happen in games. You're gonna win them or you're gonna lose them. Benny's in the building with us now too. It's your boy Cool McCain over here. Got Key in the building. He just Key tonight, no hat, nothing, just hoodie, Darth Key. You know what I'm saying? And then Benny down here looking like he just got through doing a bid and threw on a green shirt. And the Eagles hat. What up, Benny?
What's up, family?
Feel it, feel it, feel it.
It's not sunny in Philly right now.
Well, it really ain't sunny nowhere, theoretically speaking, because it's nighttime, but I feel what you're saying. All right, so we got a couple of comments. We'll throw them up real quick, and then we'll, get our little extra juice, a little extra energy, a little extra pop. Then we do what we got to do. Y'all know what it is. First comment, Rod Uncensored says, "What's up, folks? What up, Rod?
What's up? What's up?
Vicala, Mr. Vicalock. Mr. Vlock 83 says, "What's up, Eagles Elite?" And shout out to the big brother, Cool Breeze McCain. Appreciate that, Vicala. Shout out to you as well, man. What's going on? All right, so we're gonna go ahead, get hyped real quick. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna come back. We're gonna go through what we need to go through. Yeah, I know what it is. We're gonna start with a little news. Then we're gonna hit up our first game. We'll talk about our player of the game, Weakest Linc, lead performance of Weakest Linc. We'll give you an update on the playoff picture. We'll preview the game next week. Maybe we'll go off on the side tangent a little bit. We'll see how things roll. But your peoples is gonna do what we're gonna do. Let's get it.
The kick is away, and the kick it's good! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
All right, so we in the building, y'all. And first thing I'll ask, how we do it every week. We're just gonna go through the different things we need to talk about. So the first thing, always, updates. Key, any updates?
I think Marcus Epps has been elevated, or he's back. I remember seeing. Nothing crazy that I've seen besides just the weekly coordinator meetings and pressers, things of that. Yeah, Marcus Epps' practice window is opened, and then Perry Nicholson released from the practice squad. That's all really the updates. I don't know if you want to watch Hard Knocks. The NFC East is on Hard Knocks, so that's been talked about. So that was really it. Nothing update wise from Friday till now.
Benny, anything you want to throw out there, sir?
Same thing that Key just said. I that's what I read. There haven't been no action because of
and Terrence Marshall. Don't know why we got him, but okay.
Yeah. We did bring Terrence Marshall back. like wide receivers ever been our problem. But, you know, we got Howard Arterius, Roseman out there making decisions. So there's always that. I want to go ahead and say,
just to let people know, if they upset that Slay has signed with the Bills, you have to clear waivers first. And by us winning the Super Bowl, we're the last ones to clear waivers on the waiver line. So, people, if y'all listening to me, don't get upset that Slay signed with the Bills.
all right. So here's what I'm going to say about Darius Slay signing with the Bills. If Howard Roseman had kept him, then he wouldn't be signed with the Bills. He would still be with the Philadelphia Eagles. So you can still get upset, in my opinion, with Howie Roseman. We said this at the beginning of the season. We said this in the preseason. We were going to trust what we was hearing. But at the same time, history tells us that after a good year, we normally do the wrong thing. And we gut things that we shouldn't gut, which puts us back in a position of not having what we need. Cornerback has been a Achilles heel for the Philadelphia Eagles my entire life. Right? We've had some times where we had like a good corner or a solid duo, but we've never, that I can remember, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, had a top-notch cornerback duo for multiple years.
We had Sheldon Brown, Lito Shepherd. The only two that I can remember that we had, and even them, they left. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they were top notch. They were solid.
It wasn't top notch.
Yeah, but that's probably the best duo we've had.
I mean, we had good duos, but they wasn't top notch. Bobby Taylor and Troy Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
There was a good duo, but they wasn't top notch.
And they only be here a couple of years. Like we don't.
Of course, we all know B-Dog. Even he got traded, or even he left. I think that was a sad day when Brian Dawkins went to another team. I know that killed me. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, but he wasn't a corner though.
I know, but in the secondary position.
I mean, I feel like we've always had really good safeties. Like safety is a position that we've in the defensive backfield or the defense in general. Safety and defensive line, I feel like we've always been a lot better than linebacker and cornerback. My personal opinion. But I think linebacker was definitely greatly neglected until a year or two ago. Defensive line, we normally do pretty good there because that's just a area of you draft guys and they're pretty much ready. The problem I feel like we have, and love to get you guys' thoughts on this too, is when we have corners and linebackers that need to be developed or are young and need playing time and don't just get thrown out of desperation. That's how I feel about it. And then on offense, I feel like we don't develop wide receivers. They have to come in and know how to play, or they just SOL on our team. These are definitely concerns.
You're absolutely right about that. Don't develop players, period, to my knowledge. They just come in and learn the playbook. Learning the playbook is not developing anybody. And as long as I've been watching football, I haven't seen any era in Eagles football that they develop any type of play.
I mean, can you say Jason Kelce? I mean, he's 6th-round pick. Nobody thought he would be a center.
Well, he had Howard Mudd. Howard Mudd put him on, taught him something, but it was mostly all Stout. Once Stout got his hands on him, Jason Kelce ran with it.
Well, that's why I say I think that there are certain positions that we do all right in. Anything really along the offensive line, I feel like we do pretty good, but just because we have, the caliber of development there. But I think positions specifically that we are past trash at developing. Cornerback, linebacker, wide receiver. We have to get guys that either can do it themselves or they just gonna fall by the wayside. And it's crazy because we had the good draft last year. We got the 2 corners. We had the veterans, the other guys. And I get there could be other reasons besides what we know why the cornerbacks that left in free agency left, because you're looking at it like, am I gonna get an opportunity next year? How I feel about it and all that, and how they felt about Vic Fangio's coaching. And Vic Fangio's coaching may not have been that good for those specific guys. You know what I'm saying? We even talking about guys on the team this year. I know we still really updates, but we talking about guys this year. I'd like for y'all to answer a question for me. How many snaps do you think Jahad Campbell got in this past game on defense?
He didn't get none. He played special twice. Special team.
38% of the special team snaps, none of the defensive snaps. Now, this is the same Jahad Campbell, my good people, that earlier in the season, getting interceptions, making plays, playing really well. The excuse that Vic gave as to why he didn't play a lot? The excuse that Vic tried to go with was that this was more of a running game and that Kobe is a better defender against the run, but he does need to find snaps for Jahad.
Well, how'd that work out for you? Because we damn near got 300 yards rushing. So who stopped what?
So my thing is that's a trash take.
That was horrible, Vic. Next. You're not fooling nobody.
Now, you have talent. You don't really know how to use young talent unless you have to. All right? Makuba played because he had to, because you got rid of everybody. That's the only way that he's going to play young guys. Jahad Campbell went from 96% of the snaps to 0 because other people came. Jalen Phillips got there. He took part of the snaps, and I get that. But you still need to find at least 50% of the snaps for Jahad Campbell. Come on. In this rotation, the way we're playing, the way the defense is on the field so much, and you're just going to ride the same guys in the ground?
Yeah, I need to know who this Bryce Taylor or whoever the hell young is. Who? You mean to tell me he got majority of the snaps and then I never hear his name being called?
Mm-hmm.
That hurts a player's development. And I'm hoping it doesn't do this to Jahad because he's a hell of a talent. I'm feeling like just because Kobe, they want to see what they got in Kobe, if they want to try to get him a contract extension or something. I always thought Vic said the best players play.
Mm-hmm.
Was this a decision from the people upstairs?
I doubt it. I think this is a Vic decision. I'm going to be real. My opinion, of course, this is not a proven fact. This is my opinion. I believe a lot of the things that has happened to the defense are Vic decisions. I feel like Vic has a big say in what happens on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think anybody's going to Vic and saying, Vic, I need you to play this person this much. It could be happening, but based on what I know about Vic, that's probably not, in my opinion, what's happening. What I feel like we have going on, we got a defensive coordinator who doesn't like a certain type of personality, right? And we can flip on over because this is going to be part of the game review. Rod says Asante Samuel and the other cat. Asante Samuel got signed to the full squad, so nothing could be done about that. We could have signed him before then, we didn't. Slade again.
I think he might have been talking about when we had Asante. When we talked about the corners.
Hot.
Who was with Asante? Who was it? Who did you say? Who did you say, Benny?
Was he talking about his pop or junior?
We're talking about senior, not junior.
You know, we had Asante Samuel, and I forgot who was on the other side when Asante was here for what that year he was here. But see, this is the thing, right?
Number 31. He was
y'all gotta listen to the statement. We didn't have any high-level duos for multiple years. You gotta listen to the entirety of the statement. Yeah, that we have some years where we had a good cornerback duo, yeah, but they only stayed 1 year. One or both of them.
Was it Maxwell?
No. Al Harris.
Al Harris was still here when Asante was here?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes, he was.
So we're getting into the Bears game. The main things I want to talk about is long-standing issues. I don't really care a lot about this specific game because it follows a pattern. So, big issue I have right now is we were preached all off season, all last season. You know, the last couple of years, depth. Oh, we're going to go and have depth pieces so that we can rotate guys in. Then why is Jahad Campbell playing? He's shown that he could be a piece. He's shown that he can play. He's shown he can get a job done. So shouldn't he have snaps? My answer would be yes. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter who you have on the team. Because the defense is playing a lot more than the offense, meaning there's a lot of snaps to go around. But you're deciding not to put guys out there who are part of why we're where we are. We need to understand it's all cool. We want to roll with this guy. We want to roll with that guy. That's all cool until that guy gets hurt. It's all cool until that guy's not being effective. It's all cool until the young guys remember how they never play, and then they're not interested in re-signing. Mm-hmm. One of the things we got to do. Oh, Quitter. That's what I thought, but I didn't want to be wrong. I hadn't looked it up yet. So.
Oh yeah, Nnamdi. Jesus.
So that
Christ.
was not a good. That was not a good duo. Nnamdi.
Heck no, Nnamdi stunk.
Hot doo-doo trash juice. I thought it was Nnamdi.
Oh, he was
doo-doo better. Wrong. So thanks, Quitter, for providing that information. I ain't want to have to try to go look it up.
Come over here and then he get all sloppy.
I thought Al Harris was going by then, but like I said,
Al Harris was going. Sante was here
for a couple of years by then, Benny.
Sante was here for 3 years, 2008 to 2021. I mean, 2008 to 2011.
That's not a duo. A duo means two good corners. Nnamdi Asomugha was trashing mine when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Terrible. He was all right. He was good with the Raiders. As soon as he came over here, he know what to do.
Trash. So the thing is, when I say we haven't had good duos for multiple years, trust me when I tell you. I looked it up today. Before I came, I couldn't remember, but I looked it up today. Duos, meaning and what a good duo is, two solid corners. Two corners that you would say, at least in a pitch, they could be your number one corner together for multiple years. We haven't had it, and one of the reasons is we haven't valued the corner position enough. Then we started to value certain positions for a year, and then we get away from it again. And what does that do? It puts us right back in the same situation that we were previously in. How is that helping us be successful? How is that helping us be a better team? It's not. Also, in this game and others, Tyler Steen, you're not what I thought you were. You are top 10, I believe top 4 in rush rate allowed on the.
I think he's number 4.
Yeah, and then what you call it? He done fell off. Leonard Dickerson, he like 9.
Ran in right there with him.
Yeah, he's a 9. So we got two guys like ours in the top 10. Tackles in the top 10 for allowing guys basically to get to your quarterback. Long story short, say how you want to say it, but that's what it really is. So we get a lot of complaints about, Jalen Hurts this, Jalen Hurts that. I'm not absolving Jalen Hurts at all. But when you went from having a line where you didn't have these issues last year to having these issues, it's a little crazy. So then, today, Mekhi Becton in the past few days has been coming out complaining, right? So, Eagles fans, let's go get Mekhi Becton back. So I'm gonna ask y'all a serious question. All the stuff that Howie's been pulled, do you believe the rest of the league is gonna let Mekhi Becton become a free agent so he can come back to the Philadelphia Eagles?
Absolutely not.
Teams are gonna grab these guys just to spite us.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And
like I said, that's what happened when you're the last one that get the waiver on the waiver wire list. Nothing you can do. That player got to, clear waivers.
But see, Benny, that's not even the thing. I appreciate that information, but that's not even the problem. The problem is why the piece is already here. Why don't we have another lineman that we can say, you know what? If we need somebody to play because we're not 100% sure about Steen yet, or we just want to have, a backup in case one of our tackles gets injured. Anybody on the line. Why don't we have somebody? Why? Because Howie didn't feel like we needed to. He felt confident that what was left, not all that was here, but what was left was good enough. Now, Mekhi Becton went after money. We weren't going to be able to match the money. There was not a lot we could do about a couple of the guys that we lost. But there were guys that, like Slay should have never left his team. He already said he was to play one more year. We couldn't say, hey, let's redo this contract, get you back in here for another year.
They gave him a deal for a year.
Well, we had a deal. They cut him.
That's right.
Yeah. But you could have said, we're going to cut you and then bring you back on a lower deal. We've done that before with players. But they cut him, felt like they didn't need him. They cut him, felt like they didn't need him.
Do that.
Because they felt like they didn't need him. Howie has years where we have a lot of holes, so he plugs them. And he'll overplug those years between the draft and free agency. But then he signs a lot of those guys on one-year deals, and the next year he doesn't repeat that action or keep some of those guys. We played Zach Bond. Thought that was, a good move. I still think that's a good move. He hasn't had the same kind of year, but he's not around the same caliber of player. A lot of talk about Reed Blankenship. Hasn't had the same kind of year, been up and down. He's not around the same type of caliber player. Guys play better when they're playing with better players. Guys who are more on the good or kind of or a little bit better than good play better when they're surrounded by other players that are their caliber or better. What we've done is Howie has allowed himself to, in my opinion, to be delusional in believing the talent of some guys when it hasn't been proven yet. And I think that hurts us. What are y'all guys' thoughts on that?
It really does hurt us. Because one, I wasn't that high on Keely Ringo when he was playing at Georgia. He wasn't a key factor of them winning chips. I seen him get burnt in college. I was never high on Adoree Jackson. He was playing with the Giants. He was getting toasted. Why do you think they re-signed him? Then he go where? Tennessee? If you want to repeat or you want to compete, you build them from the draft. Me and Coach Dante were just saying this a couple of weeks ago. Certain conference, you can get the best players that you want. Like the SEC. Get your wide receivers from there. Offensive linemen. You can get that out of the Big 10 and the Big 12.
We do realize that Quinyon Mitchell didn't come from any of those conferences.
Sure didn't.
Right.
So I get the whole like certain conferences, but I don't subscribe to that. And you have to get only certain things from certain conferences. I feel like you need to do your due diligence.
Quinyon Mitchell, he's an anomaly. This dude, he was under the radar He was really under the radar.
I don't believe so. What happened in that draft? So you have to look at the draft. My opinion, of course, this is all opinions. I believe that in that draft, so many people were focused on getting linemen and getting other positions, quarterbacks, the defensive guys that should have went higher got pushed back, right? That's why, certain guys were there at that position. That's why we got the 2 corners when we did. I always felt that DeJean was going to be more of a slot guy in the NFL. So I like that he has that position and had that position because I feel like that's where he's the best at. I think we can agree in this game there was a couple of times where he got dealt with. And I think it's not that he can't play outside some, but it has to be the right matchups.
Right.
He's more of an inside guy, and we should really, have him there. Him and Makuba got burnt a couple of games ago as well. So I think, that second corner is very important. And Jacorian Bennett needs a shot. Whatever's happening, whatever you've seen in practice, put that man out there in the game. He can't be no worse than Adoree Jackson.
Exactly. Let me ask you this. Terrion Arnold, was he selected before Quinyon?
I don't know. We have to go back and look and see.
Hold on.
They had him a higher grade. All these analysts had him a higher grade, like a number 1 corner.
But
over. And it was him, and then it was Quinyon.
After the Shedeur Sanders debacle, I don't care what those people got to say no more.
Right.
They said
but here it is. What I'm getting to. How many times did he get hurt this year?
Who?
Terrion Arnold. He's on the he's injured again.
I don't know, sir. I really don't pay as much
he's hurt.
Guys.
He's hurt, right?
He's hurt, but
he's hurt.
I don't really pay attention to other guys because sometimes if you take a guy and put him in a different situation, there's a different outcome for him.
Quinyon went first, then Arnold.
Okay, so Quinyon did go first because of our decision. I think the thing for me is it's more for me how you play, how you fit into the scheme of the team that you're going to, than where you're ranked or, if you're drafted, if you're the first player from your position drafted. I think Quinyon always fit what we do well. A lot of teams were upset once we got him, but you let him fall to us because you were so worried about getting other things. Because defense, I only believe, started going into the teens in that draft, really.
Yep.
Because the thing is,
right.
you have to get what you need. But you have to be a person. We're gonna get to that, Rod. Rod is
just don't understand.
Ready. We're gonna get there. We just got a few more things we got to talk about before we get there. But we have to make sure that we get the right people and you have depth, because depth is what's lacking on this team on the defensive side, in my opinion. Because one guy gets hurt, we don't have anybody else to go in. So FYI, Marcus Epps has had his practice window lifted. He's now been elevated to the active roster. And he, according to Vic Fangio, he has a chance to start on Monday. He said that just like the rest of the team, our favorite safety, Sidney Brown, was up and down.
Good grief. I'm glad he acknowledged that.
This dude, man.
Yeah.
This is not the Canadian Hockey League. He's playing hockey instead of football.
He gets a lot of slack, but he's trying to make a play as a defensive player. He got his own player, but he's trying to make a play as a defensive player. Do you want him to go around and try to hit and make plays, or do you want him to pull up and try to make sure he knows who he's hitting? It happens. I get we're upset because it was Makuba, but it happens. Like he's trying to make plays. He's not out there saying, "Oh, I'm gonna take Andrew McCuba out." I mean, he's trying to make plays for his team. So I don't like the fact that you hit your player, but you're trying to make plays. I think he gets a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit more grief than he should for a bang football play. And we should have enough depth to where if somebody gets hurt, we still good. One safety going down shouldn't alter what we believe is going to happen with the defense or the safety position, because we should have enough depth. Or we should at least have some corners that could play some safety, right? Maybe if you put Adoree Jackson, Slohan Potts at safety, maybe play better.
No.
You know?
Maybe.
I mean, it couldn't
That's
be no
a
worse.
big maybe.
Couldn't be no worse.
Can't be no worse than
What do we normally do with corners once they get too slow to play outside? We put them at safety. Adoree Jackson is too slow to play outside.
Yeah, because they're not gonna come. They're not gonna go at the safety. They always go at the corner.
They always go at the corners because they want the big plays.
So the safety helps over the top. So I mean, at least you can get some traction to help.
Yep, because your old Pots just run back the whole time, and maybe even if you're slow, if you just run straight back and then figuring out where to go, maybe you can make a play. I just don't. I mean, there's a lot of things I feel like should be done different with how the personnel is set up. Number one, and how the defense is ran. And everything. So now we're going to go to Rod's question. We know what happened. CJGJ was talking trash after the game, saying, I knew y'all would fold, blah, blah, y'all soft. So Rod asked, what are y'all thoughts on his comments after the Bears game? So before the game, he was telling the guys in the locker room we'd fold. He knows the team. Here's the truth. Guys like CJGJ, Brandon Graham, even Slade to an extent, they're dogs. They got a dog mentality. What that means is they're not going to you ain't going to just run up on them and say whatever, and they just going to duck, and keep it going and stay professional. They'll give you a little bit of words, a little bit of actions. They're going to bring some extra fire to the team. The only guy I feel like we got like that right now is Jalen Carter and then Brandon Graham, but he's not really being that much of a part of the team at this point. They're not playing him a lot. So you got to have those guys. And I feel like Vic doesn't like those guys. So we got rid of those guys. And we can see the difference in attitude without those guys.
Yes.
Honestly, GJ was right. We don't have those guys. We don't have the rough guys. We don't have the heart of the team guys. You got, 1% better every day guys. And I take full accountability for the umpteenth week in a row. For how we played and, whatever. And, you got guys like Quinyon. He seems mild-mannered, but he seems to flip it when he get on the field, but still young. You got like Makuba, Campbell. Those guys are young. You're not getting really any – I'm not seeing a lot of dog from Nakobe. I haven't seen a lot of dog from Jalen this year, but Jalen Carr's playing with a hurt shoulder. So when you're trying to manage that pain all game, it's a little bit different. Jordan Davis has been a little bit, I think, play-wise a dog, but I don't know if he's a personality like that. We got a lot of mild-mannered personalities on this team. We need a couple of old war dogs. You know what I'm saying? A couple of old nasty dudes that to kind of inflict that mindset on the team. So I definitely think that CJGJ had some merit in what he said. He was with the team last year. He know the guys. So I don't have a problem with what he said because it looks like that. When your offense is just running the same plays and your quarterback like he don't want to run, and one guy seems happy when he gets his yards and catches, whether we win or not. It is what it is. I know we're supposed to be reviewing the Bears game, but there's a couple of things I want to touch on. I ain't really worried about reviewing the Bears game. We know what happened. We got ran all over. The defense broke. The offense did what they've been doing. So we don't need to talk about that 30 times. Seth Joyner had some comments. Did y'all see those comments? Looks like Benny saw him. So
Look, I respect Seth. He's one of my all-time favorite Eagle.
To paraphrase, he's basically saying that, AJ might get mad at what he's saying, but basically he feels that AJ's more concerned with getting his individual stats than team performance. And that he was sulking when we were winning and he wasn't getting the numbers. And now that we're losing, but he's getting the numbers, it doesn't seem to bother him that much. Key, what do you think about that?
I don't have a problem with him saying that because I see it. I see it. So to me, it was about the number.
What do you think, Key?
I zoned out for a second. What was the question?
So the question was, Seth Joyner was talking about how it seems like A.J. Brown is more about his own individual production than team success, because when we were winning, but he wasn't getting the touches in the production, he was sulking. And, you know, we've been losing the last couple of games, but he's been getting more production. We really haven't had any complaints out of him the last few weeks. So I was asking for your thoughts on that.
I mean, we did notice that as soon as AJ was getting the ball, you know, he noticed he wasn't complaining as much, but the team lost. So it felt like, not say a wasted effort, but that didn't help us win the game. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with Seth Joyner saying what he said, because, I mean, low key he's not wrong. When we're winning and you're not getting the ball, you're going to complain. You're playing subliminal messages, you know, just how your attitude, your body language is. But then we in a losing effort, but you're getting the balls. So I just feel like that's not forcing the team to throw the ball to you all the time, and we can spread it out. But again, everybody knows where we're running. So just like this TikTok I seen, Saquon up the middle, deep ball AJ Brown, good job defense. Rinse, wash, repeat. That's all it is. So I don't have a problem with Seth Joyner's comments. Half the media and what's going on around Philly is either former players or the media personality who's never played football. I mean, I kind of value more of the players who actually played here and know the game more than just the analysts who think they know. Or some players do have a right to say, some others don't. Like Donovan, we're not going to talk about what Donovan said. But Seth Joyner, he plays on the defensive side. He knows what the offense is going to look like. Seth knows what he's talking about. Sometimes does he go off? Yeah, he does, but he's not wrong half the time. So I value Seth's, you know, what he say over anybody else out there. But he wasn't wrong. I don't have an issue that he said it. Oh, well, AJ's a big boy. Take it up and suck it up. Go out there and keep playing. You either going to bitch and complain, or you just going to go out there and play football.
Anything else you want to add, Benny?
You know, when I hear former players, you know, make comments about the offense, I can respect their opinion. But what pisses me off is our Philadelphia media, guys that never played the game. They only talking on what they are hearing or what is being said by other people. I don't respect them, but I respect the former players. Just like that's not the only comment that Seth had about AJ. He also had some last year, but nobody ain't say nothing about what he said last year. It's only about this year. But I get it. You know, I'm not mad at AJ. But my take on AJ, I'm trying to put myself in his surrounding or his mindset. Like, he feels like if this coaching staff don't care how the offense look, why should he? Just give me the ball.
Well, I'm going to say this. There are some things that I feel like former players are saying based on what they've heard, but some things like what Seth said that he's basically seeing for himself. He's not going off any information anybody's giving him. I would have to agree with what Seth is saying. I noticed it right away. Last 2 games, A.J. Brown been cool. Press conference after the game, he been chill. But when we were winning and, the ball wasn't always going to him, it didn't feel that way. So perhaps
Jalen actually had a moment.
Yeah, it could be coincidence. But if it is coincidence, then very simple way to solve the problem, sir. Care about your team winning. And if you're going to check out when you got a team full of guys out there that's still trying to play, to me that's a concern. I don't ever believe in checking out on your guys.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? You need to go out there and play for those other guys on the field. You got a quarterback that's supposed to be your boy. You got another receiver out there that you're supposed to be real tight with, and all these other guys you've been playing with. So maybe, the coaching isn't what it should be. That's what players are for. Get together and figure it out.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, is another question I want to ask both of you. So, I was going to go a different way with this, but I'm going to go this way with it now. And we ain't really talking about the game. If y'all tuned in for us to get up here and yell and curse and pass out over the game, sorry to disappoint you. We're really talking about what's happening, like for real, like not the same thing over and over, not getting upset because this ain't happening, that ain't happening, but really like how we feeling about certain things. So another thing I wanted to ask you guys about. So there's been some talk about different things that may be happening with Kevin Petula. So one is that he's just an idiot and can't coach. I won't rule that one completely out. But the second one was that there's a lot of, or one of the other ones I won't say, it's not really in any order. One of the other ones was Petula is not completely in control of the offense. That at least partially Sirianni's trying to implement some of the things that he tried 2 years ago that didn't work then again. Third part of the theory is, or the other part of the theory is that Petula doesn't want to use things from guys like Steichen and Kellen Moore because he's trying to use this as a platform to get his own job. And he feels like using the things that they did doesn't make him seem like he's coming up with things on his own. And it's going to affect his ability to get a head coaching job, which is probably what he's probably trying to do. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's a combination of any of those? Do you think it's any of those, or do you think it's something completely different? What's your thoughts, Benny?
Well, one, we all know this is Nick Sirianni's offense. And Kevin Petula, my question for him, you've been around for so long, you've been with not just our organization, you've been at other organizations. Do you know how to design plays? Do you know how to design schemes? And we all know that Nick chose him because he can control him. He don't have to worry about no ego in the room where like he couldn't bully like Kellen and Shane. Because this playbook of Nick's, what's his name? Greg Cosell, Howard's grandson. He said it clearly. It's elementary, 9th grade elementary type of offense. But for him, he want to do his own thing to get a coaching job. Who's going to hire you the way we look? Who's going to hire you the way we look right now? You hear me get us out of situations. Our coach can't do, he don't have the answers. You don't have the answers. Because if you have the answers, it would have been fixed by then. Everything would have been fixed by then. We will have some type of identity. So I don't think he's trying to do something so he can get a coaching job. Because he don't know what he's doing. This is his first time on this level. He was actually a gopher. Go get my notepad. Go get that iPad. Was you really paying attention when you was in these rooms with Shane and Kellen? Because if you was, you would. Perfect example. The NFL is supposed to be a copycat league. Everybody copy everybody and put their own flavor to it, right? He ain't even doing that. He ain't doing that. He's not ready, man.
Key, your thoughts.
He's not ready.
So it's really just mind-boggling to me how everybody else in the league can figure out what we're doing. People in the comments on certain posts can figure out what we're doing. Nick Foles had a good couple of thoughts on KP. He was saying how before he was the offensive coordinator, he was the pass game coordinator, meaning so he was looking at different concepts, and he was up in the booth in a controlled environment where he's seen all that. His suggestion is to put him back in the booth, put him back up in the box where he's by himself in a controlled environment and he can see things. I don't know if that's going to make a difference, Nick, and I value your opinion. He did have some good key thoughts. He said when he was in the offense, he would ask his guys, yo, what are we seeing? What do you think will work? And he was like, JP told him, let's run this. And he went to run it by Doug to make sure it was okay. I don't know if Hurts is in the huddle asking, or I know he's probably on the sideline because everybody think, Jalen sits by himself and don't talk to his guys when he do. If y'all seen that clip from Hard Knocks, he held himself accountable for not making that pass to Devontae Smith because that would have been a walking touchdown. He even asked. He said. He even asked. You even heard ask Devontae, what did you see? And he's like, all right, that was my fault. So he does take accountability for things that he doesn't do, and I'm sure he talks to his guys. But I don't know if putting KP up in the booth would make a difference. Nick can't call plays either. There's a reason why we had he got that role pulled from him. And the reason why we went outside and got an OC. Frank Wright. OC. 2017. Super Bowl winner. He went out, got a head coach with the Colts. He was the outside source. What happened when he left? We went in-house. Brian Johnson. How'd that work out? Oh no. Then we got Shane. Then we got Shane. Shane was an OC back in the Chargers. He helped Herbert out. Then what happened? Came to us, Super Bowl appearance. Even though we lost. What happened? He went to the Colts. And bring in Brian Johnson. How'd that work out? In-house. Didn't. Then we went out and got Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore was with Dallas. He also was with the Chargers and Dustin Herbert. He was top 10 in offense. What happened when he got here? Super Bowl. What happened? He went to head coaching job for the Saints. I bet you he's regretting that. And then where we go? In-house. How's that working? Couple times we done went in-house on things, and it hasn't worked. Johnson, Petrulio, Press Taylor. How did that work out for us? Press Taylor, of all people, you put Press Taylor at OC? And some other, I forget who the other person was. In-house does not work, Howie. It does not work. You're going to need somebody that doesn't want a head coaching job. Like Vic said he don't want to be a head coach no more. We're going to need to find an offensive coordinator that don't want to be a head coach. It's not going to leave.
Here's the problem. Those guys are trash. That's truly the problem. Unless if you guys can come up with somebody for me that you're pretty confident don't want to be a head coach, that's a good OC. Because I feel like if you're a good OC, your goal is to be a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's going to be hard to find a good OC that doesn't want to be a head coach. I think the problem is the other guys that we're promoting are not the right guys. Keep in mind, Petula is a guy that got passed over for Brian Johnson. That's how much faith they had in him at that time. They passed him over for Brian Johnson. I mean, Kevin Petula is what we have. If we could go back in time or we could tell them somebody to get, I'd definitely get somebody else. But I feel like this about the situation. I think this is partially Nick's playbook. For sure. We see some of the stuff that we saw 2 years ago. It's no more effective now than it was then. The mid-range passing game is pretty much gone. We don't use the middle of the field. We did that 2 years ago. So it feels like that's back. No creativity on how we're running the ball. Nobody's pulling. Now, all the stuff that we were doing when Kelsey was here the first couple of years with our new center, we're not doing any of those things. We're not moving guys. We're not saying we're going to run the ball to the left, pull a guard or tackle from the right, and have them run to the left and be an extra blocker. Right? We're not doing those things. I don't see the motion that we've seen in the past. I don't see lining up in the same formation and running different plays. I see if we're in certain formations, we're going to do the certain play. Now, we might flip it. Instead of throwing it to the right, we might throw it to the left. But that means you're flipping the guys so the defense could easily figure that out. I think he doesn't want to use what was successful for Steichen, what was successful for
RPO was our bread and butter.
Yeah. But I think that he doesn't want to use those things because he does feel like he's going to get a head coaching opportunity. And honestly, whether we feel like he deserves it or not, he probably will get one.
That's sad.
We're 8-4. We could probably win at least 2-3 more games, right? I mean, we played the Commanders twice. We played the Raiders. We played the Chargers. They may not have their starting quarterback. And then we're going to also play the Bills. So to say we could win at least 2 or 3 of our last 5 games is reasonable.
It's the Chargers, Raiders,
Commanders,
Washington, Bills,
Commanders again. But I'm saying in that 5-game stretch, we played the Commanders twice, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Bills. So in that stretch, it's easy to say we could win probably 3 of those games, at least. So we get to 11 wins. Let's just, for sake of argument, get to 11 wins. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to have at least one playoff game.
I mean, I didn't say between 11 and 12 wins was our ceiling this year.
Yeah. And that's gonna be enough to probably get him at least interviews for jobs. You want to hire a young guy early on before other people do, right? Because they've been a couple of years. Most of them are starting to look good after they've been there a couple of years. I wouldn't do it, but that's the trend that I'm seeing from the NFL. You talk about the Panthers, Dave Canales. You talk so many teams you could talk about. They're hiring guys that don't really have a lot of experience, and they're able to figure it out in a couple of years. So it's possible.
I mean, if we was going to promote an in-house guy, it should have been the quarterback's coach.
Who has play calling.
Who has play calling experience, head coaching experience at Bowling Green. I thought we was going to get Harold Fannin Jr. in the draft because that's where he coached him. But I thought we was low-key was going to draft another tight end, and he was on my draft board, but we didn't. And so if you wanted to promote somebody, let's just say Nick did fire him or he lost, you could have put him there. But
If you're going to hire somebody from in-house, we definitely need people with some type of experience calling plays on some level at least. That's a big problem. That's a big concern for the team, not just this year, but moving forward. Are they going to continue to allow Nick, whether this guy stays or goes, to just get whoever he wants and promote them? Like, hey, buddy, it's your turn to try to go be a head coach now. Right? Like, what are we doing?
Right. It's still, like I said, it's still just mind-boggling that everybody in the league is talking about how vanilla and predictable our offense is, and y'all two doofuses don't see it.
So Quitter 215 says Kevin Patullo needs common sense. Everyone knows you keep the ball on the ground on a windy day. So that's the one game thing. My focus is more the long-term thing. I feel like the blend of Sirianni's playbook and Patullo not wanting to use things that have been successful for other coaches because he wants to set himself apart because of arrogance. He wants to be the reason why he gets an opportunity all on his own. Doesn't want anybody to be able to say because he's doing this or doing that. As Diva said plenty of times, if you want to be successful, you have to pull from the successes that's been had in the past recently. Like, we're not saying go back 6-7 years. We're saying go back to what was good last year, 2 years ago, times when the Eagles looked good offensively. And we don't have to look amazing. We just need to look solid. Right? If our offense is just moving the ball, getting points, even if it's threes, getting some sevens, we win a lot of games. Even last year when we won the Super Bowl, we were having one half we play good, one half we play bad. We're not even getting a half this year. Most games we might get a quarter. Against the Cowboys a couple of weeks ago, we lost. We had really 21 points like a couple minutes into the second quarter. We ain't scored no more. That wasn't even a good half. It was a good quarter and maybe 2-3 minutes of the second one. It has to be better. Play calling can't be vanilla. And I feel like Nick mandates that we only use so many plays for so long in a season. Because I feel like every year we get to the end of the season and we start seeing different play calling. Right? And it's like you can't continue to do that and think it's going to be successful, bro. At some point, you got to actually say, you know what? For us to be successful, we need to go out and maybe we don't lose every play every week, but we need to start adding some more plays or adding some more variations of the plays we're doing. Right? And I think a lot of last year, too, was because the line was so well, there could have been a lot of plays being called that were bland, but the team was just good enough to be like, nah, it's not working. Saquon bounce it outside. Right? Because you see a lot of him stopping, jump cutting, bouncing. So he probably wasn't getting a lot of plays called for him to go outside. He was just making an adjustment based on what he was seeing. We acknowledge that there's been a lot of times where Jalen has called audibles on pass plays or audible run play into a pass play. But it's not enough. If you're getting garbage plays or plays, I'm not even going to say garbage, plays that are not going to work and they're not going to work, audible is something that you think will work. What are they going to do to you, Jalen? Are they going to say you didn't put my playbook? Go sit down? Put Tanner McKee in? No. You're the guy. You got to take more control. When the coordinator is lacking, the quarterback needs to take more control. That's something that hasn't happened on a consistent basis since Jalen Hurts has been in Philadelphia. I've been on this show, Key. You've been watching. Even before you were on the show, I've been saying Jalen's got to step up and Jalen has got to take command. He ain't done it yet. He's a good boy.
The year we went to the Super Bowl and lost the first time, Jalen was straight face, straight business. Didn't crack a smile, didn't do anything. Last year we went to the Super Bowl, this man was having fun. He was, chilling, talking, smiling, laughing, out there having fun. I don't see that this year at all. None. Like the Jalen that we seen, what was it, the Rams game when they showed him on the sideline chewing folks out? Where is that Jalen? Bring that Jalen back. Go over there and say this ain't working. Fix it. Do something.
We seen he didn't seem too high on Patullo getting a job.
He wasn't.
Yeah. So because he already understood what was going to be. But I think you got to, as the quarterback, you got to be like, look, man, I know that this ain't going to work with what he's doing. So we're going to be audibling more. We're going to be calling some different stuff because we got to make something happen. Hot route, something. So I put a piece of the blame also on Jalen because it's time for you to step up to the next level of being an elite, trying to be an elite quarterback and being a guy that's more involved in the play calling. So whoever the coordinator is, you're more involved in the play calling. And that's what we were told or hinted at was going to happen this offseason. That's been a lie for the most part.
See,
the last thing. Go ahead.
Very cool.
The last thing about just the team as a whole, there's no fire. We need some emotional leaders to step up. Kind of touched on this with CJ GJ, what he said, but like seriously, we need some guys to step up. We need guys that's going to be getting in people's ass when things ain't going right. Players, not some coach all the time, but players saying, hey, I need to step up. We have veterans on the team, but again, a lot of the guys who had that fire, who had that disposition, they're not here anymore. And a lot of those guys on the defensive side of the ball, who controls defense, who has a say in defensive personnel, Victor John Fangio, that's who. But who makes the ultimate decision? Howard Arterius Roseman. Y'all two got some explaining to do to this fan base. Oh, and by the way, Kevin Petula, your house got egged because your coaching is trash. You're lucky it wasn't piles of poop because your calls are poop and they could have thrown poop at you. People could say, oh, he went too far. I'm not going to argue with you whether he went too far or not because, you know, it is what it is with that. But if you call better games, it wouldn't happen.
Well,
Maybe
we had
We'll see.
one game that was played perfection. Why can't we just go back to that? Like, can we go back to that playbook? What we did differently? Minnesota was the only game we played 4 quarters, complete football, and then after that, went to shit.
Let me tell you something. What makes a good coach? Will a good coach use the same playbook year after year after year? A good coach knows a defensive coordinator is going to adjust to what you did last year and be ready for you. So a good coach will always be maybe 1 or 2 steps ahead of his competition, right? That's not Nick, and that's definitely not KP.
Well, Nick's not a play caller.
Imagine this. Imagine this.
Never gonna be that.
Right. Imagine this. Just imagine. Imagine, for example, imagine the 49ers coaching the Eagles with this roster. How do you think that would look?
Depends on the defense.
No, I'm just saying the offense.
Because you can't say that. Well,
because you know he know how to make adjustments. All right, put it like this. What about imagine LeVay got this offense. See what he doing with Puka and the old ass Stafford.
Devontae Adams is a big part of that too.
Exactly.
And the triple tight ends that they use
exactly.
Is also a big part of that.
You know how to get the best of his players, right?
Yeah,
that's not Nick. And that's not KP.
But it's never going to be Nick, though, Benny. Everyone has to understand.
I know.
Really,
I know.
Including Nick in the conversation is really like worthless, right? Because he's not a play caller. You're talking about guys that actually can call plays themselves. Yeah, they're going to do better. We have a unique situation. We don't have a head coach who can call plays, so we depend on the coordinator to be the play caller for the offense. When you bring in guys that have never done it before and you don't have a coach that can help them, then you already know what it is. What you have to do is
we're never going to get it, Cole.
We have to start creating. We have to start creating guys in the organization that are getting opportunities somehow to call plays, whether that's you're helping with the run, the pass, or you're helping call plays, or you're involved in that process and you're learning. We have to start realizing that every year or two, max, we're going to need a new coordinator. You can't always get an outside guy to come that's going to be valuable. Okay. Also, when you're filling, hold on. Also, when you're filling coaching positions, there's a lot of guys in the NFL that are assistant coaches that are just getting their chance in the NFL because they were in the college ranks that called plays that you can put on your staff. So that when situations occur, you have guys that have experience calling plays that you can put in positions. The problem is we're getting Nick's buddies in positions. And when Nick's buddies get in positions, it doesn't work because his buddies don't have experience. It doesn't matter if you get the opportunity if you're not prepared for the opportunity. We need to start getting guys that have play calling experience. Heck, at this point, I take a guy that called plays in high school, Division III football, over guys that have no experience. So there's guys out here that are, on other teams or guys that are wanting to get in the NFL on the offensive side of the ball that have play calling experience. We need to start having some of those guys on our staffs.
Yes.
We need to stop having a bunch of guys that can't call plays because we're always going to get ourselves in a bad situation if that's what we're going to do. There is no other way I see because I agree with what Key's saying. It just doesn't seem realistic. In today's NFL, your OCs are normally younger guys or guys who've had a shot at a head coach and they're trying to reprove themselves and get back to being a head coach. So mostly anybody that you bring in is going to want to be a head coach again. You're on a good team with a lot of talent, the opportunity is going to come probably in a year or two. So the problem is a pipeline. You got to have a pipeline. We don't have that. I've been saying that for years too. You got to have a pipeline.
You know what? It's so funny. I was talking to these Giants content creators, right? And it was like, who the hell is Mike Kaplan? So I had to put him down. I say, listen, see, this is why y'all only watch the Giants, but y'all don't pay attention to anything. I'm gonna tell you who Mike Kaplan is. He played at Northwestern. He left when he came into the NFL. He was drafted by Andy Reid to the Eagles. He was a backup. He played some preseason games. He looked okay. And after he knew that he wasn't ever going to be a starter, he got into coaching. Who did he follow? Andy Reid. He was on Andy Reid's staff when Andy was still here. And Andy took him to KC. He learned behind not just Andy, Eric Bieniemy, Matt Nagy, and he remembered plays that he did when he was in Northwestern. He gets to the Giants. All those trickery plays that you saw them do against Detroit, that wasn't Brian Daboll's playbook. That was his. That was his. So I'm saying this. He's going to be a hot commodity. Young guy, very innovative. I don't know if the Giants is going to, take the interim tag off of him and make him their coach. And those players responding to him. I would love to have that boy over here. I would love to have him over here. Just imagine if he do get that job and they get their pieces back, the Giants is going to be a team to be reckoned with. This is why we got to upgrade our playbook.
That's going to come with a different coordinator.
Exactly.
So the playbook is going to get upgraded. So those are things that are not going to happen this year. We're not going to get rid of the dude no matter what happens. So anything that has to do with anything outside of him figuring it out this year, they've shown they're not going to bring in no one to help. They're going to put it on Kevin Patullo. That's what it's going to be. So the problem is, how do we get through the rest of this year? So
by the grace of God, brother. By the grace of God.
We'll be quick
by
with
the grace of God. That's all I can say.
See, I ain't even going to go to
I don't know.
I feel you, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. So I ain't even going to pull the graphics up. We're just going to go through this real quick. So your elite performance against the Bears. Benny, who was yours?
AJ, because he got his targets.
Yeah, I was going to say AJ. I couldn't think of really nobody else.
I'm going to say nobody besides AJ. Since you already said AJ, I mean.
It wasn't really nobody. It was AJ.
Oh.
I mean.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. It don't have to be about the Eagles. That Giants play, the Bears play caller. Elite. With a trashy quarterback. But that running game was, oh my God.
Our team, sir. It's never the other team.
I know. DeAndre Swift had a fucking
way to glaze the Bears. Good job, sir. Way to glaze the Bears. Your weakest link for the Eagles, Benny.
Everybody.
Key.
Sidney Brown.
Adoree Jackson. And Cooper DeJean on the outside. Everybody who played cornerback too.
My question is, what is Vic seeing? Is he seeing something different? Are we seeing something different than what Vic's seeing?
He's stuck in his old ways. You know, he old.
Yeah, he old. He old school. All right. So we got the game this week. I guess we'll go ahead and graphic it up for this one real quick. Make it look cute and all that. Game of the week. Chargers, Monday night. They may or may not have the quarterback. He had hand surgery this week. So it's probably going to be right up until before we figure out, maybe Sunday, way after the show. Long story short. For the sake of discussion, let's say he's going to play. We're just going to at least try to give it a go.
Smack the hand. Attack the hand.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Damn. So, what should we be attempting to do to change our fortunes and pick up a win this week? Key, I'm going to start with you.
By any means necessary. Just win a game. I don't have nothing else to say because we say it every week. just find a way to win a game. Just find a way to win a game. I feel like the defense can get to Herbert. I mean, his offensive line isn't that great. They do have a okay defense. I'm not going to say they don't have a good defense. Darwin James, Khalil Mack, and those guys. I mean, I think you just gotta figure it out. Figure it out. That's all I can say. Just figure it out. If Herbert don't play, I mean, we have a chance. But he's the way he's talking. He didn't practice today, but the way he's talking, he's going to play. I don't know how you play with a hand surgery, but we all saw what Rodgers had the brace on or whatever. He couldn't go under center. It was everything was from the shotgun. And I'm sure, even though it may not be your 9 throwing him, but it still is uncomfortable. I know it is. So it's going to be difficult on his part to try to play with some type of cast that's going to be your, you got to catch the ball, shotgun situation, you got to pass it. So, and then you're not throwing it side hand when the ball does come, and you got to, so it's going to be tough with an injury, especially just having surgery. So we'll see if Herbert plays or not. It's up in the air at this point, but just got to find a way to win the game. Just got to find a way to win the game. That's it. That's all.
The offensive line have to be disciplined. It's time for them to pay attention. Stop getting bullied and be the bully. What scares me is that Charger defense. You got James and Matt, man. They would have it. If they stay disciplined and cut down the penalties, the pre-snap penalties, that's including AJ. Stop being so anxious to run your whatever route you're going to be running. Once you go into motion and you get to your spot, stay still until it's time to go. Cut down the penalties, man. The offensive line just
mentality.
They got to be dominant, but they got to play with some type of urgency.
Mentality.
Yeah, here you go.
This is what needs to change. We can talk about the X's and O's all day. We didn't talk about that. Forget all that. Mentality. We need some dogs. Somebody needs to step up. We need guys to say, look, we're not doing this no more. And guys are supposed to be captains like an AJ, like a Jalen, right? Like some of the guys on defense that had the guys with those C's on their jerseys. We need some dogs and some emotion from y'all. Y'all are the leaders. Y'all are the ones that's going to set the tone. We need y'all to come out with emotion and keep it for the whole game. I like what Keith said earlier about Jalen. It gets displayed on TV like he never talks to the guys. But you got to remember, they'll quickly flash over and he'll be sitting by himself. What would you ask what he might be doing sitting over there by himself? Looking at the plays and seeing what could have been done differently. Then, after you've seen what you can see, what do? You get up and you go over to your receivers, you're running back your line, and then y'all talk about it. But I feel like there's a narrative that people want about, not just Hurts, but certain quarterbacks, and they want to only portray what fits the narrative that they want. Dogs, mentality, aggressiveness. That's what's got to change. The X's and O's are going to be horrible. They're going to be great. If you go out there and they throw it and you running the same plays, but you digging in, you blocking hard, you running that play hard, you running through the end of that route crisp every time, plays are going to get made. If the defense is up the whole game, they're getting their rest because the offense is running the ball, making plays, marching down the field, even if you don't even get any points out of it. But you're giving your defense 5 or 10 minutes to sit, win, and figure out what they're going to do when they get back in the game. That's how you have success. All starts from up here for us for the rest of the season. The talent's there. There's enough talent on defense. We know that there's a heck load more talent than what we've seen on offense. It's mentality. That's what's going to determine the rest of the Philadelphia Eagles season and what happens once we get to the playoffs. This is going to be a barometer test on Monday, how this mentality is and how we're going to respond after these 2 back-to-back losses. So for me, know you're next and none of that today, because you got to win something to be talking trash. We need to get back to winning. We need to get back to the basics. Mentality, aggression, trying to dominate, exerting our will over this game. You didn't hear me say nothing about X's and O's. The plays are going to be the plays, the execution of the plays, and how our quarterback and the receivers and the running back and the line on offense see that and say, okay, audible into this. That's what needs to happen at the precise moments in the correct times. We do those things, all things from up here, we should come out and play better. If we don't, another 50-50 game. If we're going to continue to do what we've been doing, every game is going to be 50-50. We're going to see. Show me something different, Philly. That's what I want. But I'm not going to sit here and hold my breath and expect it until you show me. All right. Any last words, guys?
Just get us just win the damn game. That's it.
Make me happy. Make us all happy. Play with some effort.
Same facts.
Play with some effort. That's all I want them to do. Play with some effort.
All right. So good people, everybody watching this live, see the replay, all that. It's the season of a lot of depression for a lot of people. So just make sure you check on your friends, family, those who have lost, those who, maybe seem a little bit too happy, those who seem a little bit more withdrawn. Matter of fact, just check on everybody. Spend a little time. If you know somebody, struggles a little bit, hit them up, send them a message, get on a video chat with them. Talk to them. Let them know that there are people that, care. Sometimes that can change the course of how somebody's feeling at those moments. Much easier to spend a little time talking to somebody than a negative outcome. We'll just put it like that. And as always, it is never where you start. It's always where you finish. Philadelphia Eagles, that goes for you as well. That being said, we're out for the week. Hopefully we'll be able to have a better discussion, better talk next week. But that's all going to depend on what happens on the field. That is not something that we can control. Hashtag Fly Eagles Fly. Hashtag Be Elite. Go Birds.